Dude,
Man.
speaking of like, do you remember like the devastating text message that I would send you? Like, I accidentally deleted our text thread. Can you add me back? And you're like, oh, I lost all these gifts.
Welcome to My God a Podcast. I'm Jim Wood. In this episode, John Powell and I kick off our sixth season of the podcast. We talk about our experience at G Day in Athens, and we answer questions from you, our listeners. As always, remember to check out the newly redesigned MyGottaPodcast.com to see our latest merch. And you can follow us on social media at MyGottaPodcast. Finally, if you need help with your website or your online presence, head over to workingwebmedia.com/dogs. Now, let's join the conversation in progress. We're back.
And we're back.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
Yeah, man. I think that I think the last time we recorded was for the basketball minute slash episode,
It's
right?
that's that's what it should have been named. The basketball minute slash episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun with Fletcher. Thanks again, Fletcher. That was a blast. Yeah, NCAA tournament didn't go the way we.
Just as we predicted.
Yeah,
3 months later, 2 months later.
oh man, yeah. Wait, is this the NCAA tournament review episode? Uh, oh man. Yeah. Which
I like to say that we're in spring training, even though it's not spring anymore.
true,
I guess
true.
technically it is spring. I don't know when the first day of summer is, but all I know is that summer doesn't truly begin here in Cobb County until the kids are out of school.
Yeah, yeah. Um, we're in like, or at least Kim, from a teaching perspective, they're doing like end of grade testing or whatever because she teaches eighth grade math, so they're doing EOGs all week here in North Carolina. And then Ella's got even longer at SCAD, so she's not
God,
out until like end of May.
yikes.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah. We
Generally speaking, summer doesn't start until June 1st for the record, John.
okay, good to know. I had no idea either, so that's good to know. But yeah, I mean, and I can't even remember if we discussed last time. I guess we probably did that we had just gotten to hang out. So we've gotten to hang out like actually in person like twice, in the past few months. We had the dinner outing with John Tweet Sports. Uh,
We did. We went to Max and had a fantastic meal.
yeah,
Man, that was fun.
that was fun. So I was able to make it up y'all's way during uh our spring break Atlanta extravaganza where we did all the touristy things. Hey, I had not been to the World of Coke in like forever. I don't think I had been since it's where it is now. Like I don't think I had been since it was like, which is like a long time ago when it was like in the old building.
Right.
But so yeah, we did that. We did the aquarium. We did the College Football Hall of Fame. It was fun.
What was the popular beverage at the World Coke?
Oh,
And
uh,
please tell me all the research that you've done to try to get it.
it was cucumber Sprite, and it was fantastic.
Cucumber Sprite. Okay.
Yeah, it was so good. And where was it from? I want to say like Greece, maybe, or Spain. Um,
Sounds that
yeah,
sounds on brand for Greece.
but it was good. It was like really good. There were so many bad ones though. Yeah, there was one that even like the host, like the tour guide said, he's like it like tastes like barbecue sauce, and it totally did. And it shouldn't have like by the description, and it was awful. I can't remember what it
Interesting.
was, but it was really bad.
The only thing I remember was I had some beverage from Africa the last time I was there that was pretty amazing.
Okay, yeah, yeah. No, we've
All
looked
right.
for the cucumber Sprite, but couldn't find it. I would definitely say the College Football Hall of Fame is fun. So if you haven't been there, go check that out. I had a good time there, and Lily drilled the field goal. I missed twice.
Terrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
So what else did you guys do outside of so you did the World of Coke, you did the College Football Hall of Fame,
Yeah,
you
so we
did the Tour de Marietta.
did. Yes,
Uh
we did the aquarium, and then before that we did the Georgia basketball regular season finale against Vanderbilt. So we'd gone to that game. Then Lily did a campus tour. She has expressed interest in possibly going to Georgia. So still only a sophomore in high school, but so we did that. And then we came down. We went to Big Canoe, and then came your way, and then we did like a circle. Then we went down to Savannah and picked up Ella because her spring break was the following week. So she came home uh, for that week. We've since been back to Savannah again, and we've hung out again. So we got to hang out on G Day, and then like a week or two after we were down for family weekend in Savannah at SCAD. So we've been. I feel like I know it's been a while since we've recorded, but I feel like we've been so busy. Like so much has been going on. Time is like flying by.
It really is. Like it feels like that we're going to be kicking off for next season here, like really soon.
Yeah, I know.
Um, Time is flying by with the kids. Time is flying by with work, I feel like as well.
Yeah,
Work is probably also helping things to feel fast. I know that you've been working on some exciting stuff too.
yeah, yeah. I have. It's been fun, man.
Are we still on double secret probation?
No, no, no. I mean, there's no secret probation, but yeah. My company was pretty involved with the TGL this year, so that was big. And then we're an official technology partner of the PGA of America, so got a lot of stuff going on for me and the whole company this week. PGA Championship is in Charlotte this week, so got a lot of like activations and stuff going on there this week. So yeah, so it's been super busy, but it's been cool, like fun work. So it's been cool.
That is really cool to see stuff that you're working on live on the TV.
Right.
Like, hey, I did that.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I helped activate that.
Yeah. So it's been fun. It's been fun.
Good stuff, man. Well, I can tell you that our G Day extravaganza was super fun. I got up there a lot later than I was expecting to, which I feel like is like a rinse repeat for any attempts to try to get to Athens super early. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was fun. It was fun there. Obviously we brought Sari Carter up, and my youngest was there as well, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Uh,
Camden was there.
and she was like super famous because she was on the Jumbotron multiple times.
That's right. That's right. Her she showed up at G Day and her only goals were to get a pom pom and to get on the big screen. And she got on the big screen many, many times.
I kept texting you. I was like, oh my gosh, she's on this big screen again. And I was like tapping like my whole family around us. So, because what we were there, my mom and dad were there, my sister and my niece Sophia, who this last weekend I was in Georgia again because we went to her high school graduation party. She's going to Georgia in the fall. And then Kim and Lily and I were there, and I was like, that's Camden. She's on the jumbotron. Uh, so it was good that we
Yeah.
had just seen y'all right before then. I gotta say, man, like the G Day tailgate was pretty incredible. It's pretty cool to have a group that can show out in that quantity and quality for the spring game. Like that big group picture we took was like there was a lot of people there.
There's a lot of people
That's
there.
pretty. That's pretty freaking cool, man.
I I came rolling in. That was basically like I think I grabbed a beverage and then like took the picture.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Well, and like Lily was like itching to get into the game because we were kind of cutting it close for G Day kickoff, and we were like, I think you got convinced us to not go into the game yet and to stick around for the picture, which was a good call because that was an awesome picture. It
Yeah,
was
dude,
legit.
you gotta, yeah. Anytime you can get like a group picture like that with like a billion people in it is super, super good. I think about the picture of that we all took with John and his brother and Chuck and
Oh,
Rodeo and all those
that's
guys
a great
like
picture.
from last fall. Like that's one of my favorite tailgate pictures. It's
Yeah,
super fun.
yeah, yeah. It was good. I think my mom like posted that picture on Facebook and was like, "This is how we tailgate in Athens." And I was like, "Oh yeah, Honda's famous tailgate picture, amazing."
Honda's famous tailgate, exactly. Yeah, dude. G Day was great, man. That was fun.
I got to shout out Greg's son for making us the azaleas at the tailgate. That's pretty sweet.
I didn't get there in time for the azaleas, but it was during Masters week, and that was also pretty fun too.
Yeah.
Masters was a good time in general. Rory McIlroy, I had been rooting for him to complete his slam, so that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I was all in on Rory as well. Always good to see someone complete a lengthy journey like that. Get that career slam was that was awesome. And I don't know, he definitely added some drama for us on Sunday. But this is not a golf podcast, uh but yeah, he made it entertaining.
Yeah, seriously. Anytime you can do something that only like what five other people have done in the history
Right.
of your sport, which the history of the sport is really long, longer than a lot of American sports. Um, so I don't know. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was great. It was a great weekend. The multiple folks from the Huggins clan were decked out in Masters gear at G Day. Appreciated that. It was a good time. Good to getting to see everyone out there. And then we hung around because that was right around my sister's birthday, and then we went out Saturday night after G Day. We went to the Kinchifuni. We went and saw Kinchifuni Cowboys at the Foundry, which Greg was at that as well. Saw Greg and Rodeo at that. So that was a good time. That was a good time. And Krishna and her husband were there. So it was a good time.
That's awesome. I wish that I could have gotten to the Kitchen concert because that sounds like a lot of fun too.
It was good. We had a good time. Lily claims that was her first concert, even though it wasn't. But she's like,
What was her first concert, Jim?
I mean, see, this is where she like says that didn't count, and like
That
the
doesn't
things that she
count.
had seen. I mean, I would probably say it was Idina Menzel. Does that count? Does that count? I mean, it was at like an actual venue. So
Okay.
yeah,
I mean that that is a an artist who
right,
was at a venue
right. It was at like a
and she
outdoor,
sang
like it
songs.
was like an amphitheater, outdoor place up here in Charlotte.
You and you bought tickets for this?
We didn't buy them. We got them for free, but you did have to buy tickets.
You
We
had to
just,
have a ticket.
yeah, 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 yeah. We just got kind of like
It
it
has
was
all of
actually off the rails. Back at the time, there was oh man, now I'm even trying to remember what the name of the group was. Um, All Pro Dads. So All Pro
Oh, okay.
Dads,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like I think Tony Dungy like started
Tony
it.
Dungy's thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it was through the guy that was like the I don't know what you call it. Like he ran like the chapter, I guess you would say, like at our elementary school where the girls were both in school at the time. He works for I don't know the company that runs that venue or whatever. So he got us. He had extra tickets, and we got them through him. So
Sweet.
yeah,
Has all the markings of a concert. Sorry.
yeah.
Oh.
Seriously, JP has ruled. You have been to a concert before.
You have been to a concert before.
Motion denied. Nice.
I don't know that Carter has been to a concert, but I know my oldest has been to a concert. Um, she went to her first concert was Luke Combs.
Okay. Okay.
Luke Combs at the Rome Amphitheater.
What was your first concert? Do you remember what your first concert was?
Ooh, golly. I don't know, actually. I can't think off the top of my head what my first concert was. I'm not a big
So
concert person in general.
if my sister is listening, she's yelling at the podcast because she would say my first. Although now I'm gonna get what this was wrong. But there were two concerts that I went to when I was like way too young to go to this. It was stuff my sister wanted to go to and I went to. And it was like she and like her friend and like me and then like my mom or dad at one of them. We saw we saw Madonna and then we also saw George Michael. I think these were two different concerts. This is where my memory gets fuzzy. They were two different, but which order did they come in? I'm not entirely sure.
So you've heard Careless Whisper live and in concert.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I don't specifically remember hearing that song, but I'm sure that I did. I fell asleep. I was way, like I said, I was too young. It went too late for me. I fell asleep not because it was entertaining, but because I was a kid and I was super tired.
That's funny.
uh,
Good times.
Good times.
Good times.
Anyways, so hey, G Day, is was there anything to glean from the game for you, or even I don't know, stadium vibes and such, or anything?
I mean, it's tough to gauge the stadium vibes on G Day, particularly a Masters G Day week.
Yeah, yeah,
So the stadium was not as full as it was tickets were $10, which was obviously a nice appeal. I always tell people that G Day is one of the most underrated weekends on the UGA sports calendar,
Mm.
particularly the UGA football calendar. Um, just because it's such a laid back vibe. The weather is always super nice.
Dude, it was awesome for this game. The weather
Yeah,
was phenomenal.
yeah. Like I think I remembered, possibly being worried that it was going to be too chilly.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
it's been pretty chilly in Atlanta. You guys came to Atlanta and brought all the cold weather with you here this past week.
Oh my gosh, we were not prepared. By the way, did not bring appropriate attire for the weekend, and yeah, we froze this past weekend. What was that all about? It's not that cold here in Charlotte.
I don't know, man, but I'll take it. I'll take it because it's been nice out.
Yeah,
House sitting for a buddy, and I was like, "Hey, can I have a fire like outside in the patio?" And he's like, "Yeah, totally."
nice.
It's like, "Why are you having a?" Well, he's like, Why are you having a fire?" And I was like, "Well, it's really cold. It's
Yeah,
like 50. It's like 58 degrees outside." He
yeah,
goes, "Oh, heck yeah."
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like wore pants and like I had like a light, wore a light jacket to G Day, and that was perfectly comfortable. It was great.
Yeah, that was my Saturday actually. I had a fire outside and I watched UGA play Alabama in the national championship.
Yeah, that was great when you were texting pictures of that. That's
It's
all. That's
amazing.
always a good watch.
Dude, PS, like, oh my gosh, totally off the rails. I
That's
don't
okay.
know. Maybe I was just maybe if I go back and listen to the review episode, I would say this, but I was kind of fast forwarding, little bits in here and there. Um, dude, I don't remember. I totally forgot how awful our offensive line was the first half of that
Oh, in
game.
that game, dude, we couldn't do anything on offense. You need to. So this is where, like, I'm pretty sure. So I have like a super old phone. Like, I still have like an iPhone 11 that I got. I mean, I had this one for like 5 years. Um, and I like, I'm at the point now where like I keep running out of space, and so like if I look at why my phone is so full of stuff, it's pictures and text messages. And it's also like because like our text messages, we people are going to be shocked to hear that we send a lot of gifts to each other back and forth into our group chats and everything. So that's like what's taking up all space. But I bet I could go to my phone and like scroll back to the texts from like our like group chat during the first half of the game, and I guarantee you it was like meltdown city with like everyone.
We we were in complete meltdown mode.
Because I feel like it was one of those things where like, and like whenever that happens, there's like one of us that like tries to keep everyone else calm, and like, so I can't even remember who that was because I feel like at one point I was trying to do that, but then I got mad about something, and then like it was either like you or Hunter were like, Jim, it's fine. Uh, oh
Dude,
man.
speaking of like, do you remember like the devastating text message that I would send you? Like, I accidentally deleted our text thread. Can you add me back? And you're like, oh, I lost all these gifts.
That is the best when you'll text me like, dude, I can't find this one GIF. Can you send it to me? Hold on. Uh, in, inside
Good time.
baseball about what we talk about
Good times.
when we text each
Good
other.
time.
Oh man. Anyways, um,
About the game,
yeah,
I would say that the offensive line is very concerning. I would also say that the quarterback position is concerning. I don't know how much do you take away from that particular game because
yeah.
there's always that one character, which I guess was it Dylan Bell's brother that was the star of
I think it was
the
the
GA
other. I
game.
think it was the third bell. And I told you that was Dylan Bell's brother, but it wasn't. We now have three
Uh,
bells.
we have
Um,
three bells.
yeah, which we are at content ideas.
We got to get some content. We got to get some content for
Yeah,
those.
yeah. We have ideas.
Yes. Um, yeah, other than that, I would say that the receivers looked a lot better than they have in the past. But yes, you say that with a grain of salt because it's like I feel like there's always a wide receiver that has a breakout in G Day, and it's like you never hear from him again. I will say
Right.
that it was concerning to see like, oh my gosh, this guy's wide open over the middle, and Gunner like throws it like 15 yards past him, and then Puglisi would get in there and do the same thing.
Sure, sure.
I think if we're talking about going back and looking at text, I feel like everybody would be like, "All right, so are we portaling for a quarterback now? Like, what's going on?"
Right, right. I'm sure that was texted at some point. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just kind of the opinion. Yeah, like you can't really take a lot from that because I mean we're also like not really running our offense. You know, like we're just like throwing it up like a lot, which we don't do that. So I don't know. The one time there was a breakout wide receiver that actually panned out was AD Mitchell. Oddly enough, remember that like his first G Day game, like he kind of went off. I was like, whoa, who's this guy? So I don't know. It's possible. I was trying to look for something.
I think that I will say that
Micah Bell.
Micah Bell, yeah.
That's sorry. So that's Dylan's brother. It was Jeremy Bell, who's actually redshirt freshman. He was the one that caught that one long pass. So he's the third Bell.
I just got some more content ideas,
Okay,
actually.
nice.
Um, I will say that my seat selection was pretty epic for the scoring opportunities because I feel like all the touchdowns were scored like basically coming in our direction towards
Yeah,
the end zone that your parents sit in, which is that the south? Which end
I just
zone
like
is
to say
that?
it's the enclosed end zone.
The
Uh,
enclosed end zone,
yeah.
correct.
I mean, I guess it's I guess it's south. Yeah, I would say it's south.
I think it's south. Oh, the one that faces the jumbotron,
Yeah.
and was also nicely shaded, which was part of my goal there. Um,
Yeah, my thing with the whole quarterback situation, especially like here for Gunner, is like it's hard to evaluate Gunner when he essentially can't run in a spring game. So I feel like that just takes away. And like he ran a couple of times, and like they still try to run in that game, but it's like it's two hand touch on the quarterback. So like I don't
yeah,
I don't take a lot from it.
yeah, there was one. I remember there was one. I was like, oh, in a real game, he would have totally broken away from that.
Right. Right. Exactly. So there's essentially no threat of the run, which I feel like that's part of what people have to plan for him. So we'll see.
Conversely, I felt like there was a lot of them where I would have been like, oh, in a real game, he gets killed.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes. Yes. Definitely. Definitely. I agree. You're not wrong.
So anyway, I think G Day was great. It was good for what it is. Like I said, it's great to bring little children to, which is always fun to see. I saw a set of parents place a newborn baby on the ground underneath them, and like literally just like the baby's just like just sitting there, not doing anything, just underneath the bleachers. I just thought that was funny, like so that the parents could hang out and get a breather watching Georgia football, which is, you know, there's a lot of kids there. It's great. Like I said, it's
Yeah.
my daughter made some friends while she was there, and Carter and I were able to hang out and watch the game, and it was fun. G Day is a great experience if you are ever trying to figure out, oh, I don't know if I want to drive up there. I mean, for me, it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours to get over there, and yeah, it's totally worth it to get up there. Try to get up there as early as you can, and even though the games, I think games at like did it kick off at like 1? I can't even remember, but like it's not a it's not a night game, obviously, but it's early enough to where you can get up there and have a wonderful day, wonderful morning, and wonderful afternoon in Athens, and just have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Cool. Good times we had.
This is the amazing Layla.
Oh yes. Amazing.
Hey, Layla.
Layla.
That's exactly what it's exactly what I sing all day with her.
The
All right.
question is, do we leave me singing that note in the podcast or not, or does that get edited out? We will see.
If you leave it in there, I'll definitely send it to Neil because he's a Georgia Tech alumni, and I'll be sure to let him know that his dog was featured on a UGA podcast.
Amazing. I had one random thing that I wanted to make sure that you had seen today before we get to the listener questions.
Okay.
Have you seen the Kirby Smart, like the Braves thing?
Yes. Yes, I believe that they tweeted that out like not just today, like they tweeted it out like a couple of days ago, I feel like, and
Oh, see, I missed it. I didn't see it until today.
I have maybe unless they did a new one. I don't know. I remember the first one, and I remember tweeting out that I remember tweeting out that this isn't a real Kirby Smart speech because there's not any F-bombs in it.
True, true, fair, fair. Uh, it was a
I
good.
actually assumed that someone was going to like dub in his you've been working on this for 365 days.
That
You
would be
gotta be
amazing.
Blooper, you don't have to be nervous as
See, that actually would be good. That'd be good.
I know,
Okay,
right?
more content.
Just overlay his actual speech. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen any of those, you gotta follow the Braves on the socials. Uh, Funny Kirby Smart stuff going on.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess I could play the audio. Hold on.
I want you to eat. I want to see you eat. Do you want to eat? I want to see you eat. And Blooper, how about you? I need you to want to eat. I need to see you eat.
So random.
Okay, so that's a new one.
Yeah.
There was another one from a few days ago they posted as well. See, now that one actually would be perfect
Yeah.
to do with all I want to do. Like he just like it's hard for me to listen to that because I know what they're really like. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Right. That's good. I mean, like, I feel like I'm kind of surprised that that's out there. That like they got him to do that. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's amazing, but
I
it's funny.
mean, I'm not surprised because it's all part of the master plan to take over Atlanta.
Well, that's true. True. Doesn't hurt the
Like
gluten, I suppose.
this isn't this is our town.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I wanted to make sure we hit on that. Bonus, we got the audio in too. I hadn't even thought of that.
We did get the
So more inside baseball. When we were talking about recording, I think you texted me. Uh, our text exchange went something like this: "Hey, I can still record tonight if you can." Yeah, I can. Topics, and it was like, "Let's ask the people." So, this is the mailbag portion, presented by Working Web Media. Go check out Working Web Media. Was in hanging out with Working Web Media this past weekend. So head over to workingwebmedia.com/dogs and get some help with your website, your online presence.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're good people.
They are good people. Good people. All right. First listener question. We've got Brett Belding and the Belding bonus. TM. First, why are we going 7-5? And is it because Nolan Smith is writing Josh Pate's rankings? Which, like, what is going on with Josh Pate's rankings?
I don't know, man. Did he actually post a video?
Um, Probably. I haven't seen it. I think somebody said that it was a post spring rankings. And I think someone said that if
Yeah, post spring.
but he said something like if they were playing this week, George would be higher or something. I don't exactly entirely know what that means, but
I don't know. Sounds like quite a word salad for I need ad click revenue.
right, right. Craig was all in somebody's replies today talking about that Josh Pate's a Bama fan. So, which I mean is true. So whatever.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Any rational person can look at those rankings and just say, "Hey, come on, guys. It's Kirby Smart, it's Georgia."
Yeah.
I don't think that we necessarily deserve to be like top three or even I could arguably say top five, but like
Mm-hmm.
11
Right.
and behind Florida,
Yeah. It was a
behind
little.
Oklahoma.
It was. I felt pretty egregious, and like Alabama was like 3, I think.
It felt personal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Nolan Smith, Kirby Smart are going to use it. Like, I mean, thank you. Like, I'm glad that's out there. That's perfect. Plays
Yeah,
right in our
seriously.
hands. I love it.
Agreed.
So yeah, I think that's a good reasoning as to why we're going in 7-5 because we always are. That's what all the people are always saying.
Yeah,
Uh,
seriously.
let's see from Brett. How many SEC and national championship teams do we need in one school year to declare Georgia an everything school?
Mm.
I mean, I feel like we're more the everything school than these other schools that claim it. Like, what is it? I mean, Tennessee is what tries to say it, right?
I think that the unspoken terminology is that these schools that say that they're an everything school are the ones that are like, I guess the quiet part out loud is the undertones that are being spoken is like the men's sports
Okay.
because I think that they're looking at basketball, football, baseball, um, track and field, even I would say. I don't know. I'm trying to think out loud here. But like a lot of the men's sports, you don't ever hear them bragging about equestrian or, swimming or diving or tennis or any of these other things. But like
Yeah.
UGA's got people competing for those or softball, like, I feel like softball's not in
So you're
that
saying
vein or soccer.
we're an actual everything school, whereas other schools claim to be everything schools, but they're being selective and not
They're cherry
factoring
picking their
in everything.
sports.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, I think like I'm trying to think like there is some sort of metric that looks at like across all the sports. I remember like when we were at school, it was always like Stanford was always the best of that.
Yeah, it's the
Um,
President's Cup.
yeah. So I feel like I mean in the SEC, yeah. I know what Tennessee is the one generally people are talking about because the other ones are like we're in everything school when it's really just like men's baseball and basketball, but they still never made it to Final Four, and we have. So there you
Yeah,
go.
seriously.
So I agree, Brett. I'd say we are all ready there.
It is called oh no, it's the Director's Cup. That's
Director's
what it
Cup.
is.
Okay,
That's what it is. It's not called yeah, the Director's Cup is the one that they're looking at.
gotcha. All right. Let's hit the next one up. We got Bobby Wilson. Bobby had a couple. He said, "Can Gunner get it done?" Then he said, "Yes," and why? I mean, I don't know. I guess we talked a little bit about Gunner earlier. I mean, I just feel like it all comes back to his focus on friends, family, and cows, personally. But I don't know if that's just me.
Yeah, I would say that yeah, give me the guy that shows up to work in the 1980s 1980s Ford F-150 and yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
is
mean,
not and is more importantly not doing any TikTok dances.
oh my
Jeez
god.
Louise. We made it we
Uh,
made it to send some five-star recruits. We made it I don't know what the buyer's remorse policy is on that, but
um, I would say too, like I know, like some people are kind of like, the Sugar Bowl and this and that, but like, I mean, that was a tough draw for your first start. I mean, Notre Dame went all the way to the national championship game, and ultimately, I mean, Gunner played pretty well, I would say, in that game. So yeah, I think Gunner, I think he can get it done, and I think a lot of it too is gets back to the Georgia kid. Um, I mean, locker room leadership stuff matters a lot in college. I think especially now, that's still true. And just hearing all the messaging that was coming from the players leading up to that game, he's got their buy-in, and that goes a long way in college football. So that's my take.
yeah, I don't know. I think that I think it's the incumbent is always going to have the leg up,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's kind of like what was it was it Gerald Ford that took over? I can't remember there was a guy that took over for the presidency and had never been elected or something like that. But like, Gunner obviously got thrust into the starting role just because Carson Beck got hurt.
hmm
Um, but yeah, I would say that he has ascended that throne, whether it's by earning it or default. Your mileage may vary on how you feel about it, but at the end of the day, he was the starter. He ended the season as the starter, played a great game against Notre Dame. I think the job is his until he shows me otherwise.
yeah,
And more importantly, like if Kirby Smart says that he's the guy.
yeah,
I
yep,
think that as we've learned is that the guy that is not starting for a reason. I would say that there's probably a subset of audience out there, myself included, that really wanted to see Rashada given a shot and,
hmm
try to let him play, but he
yeah,
never played.
yeah,
He never played. He was one of those guys that was highly recruited on the team that's ranked ahead of us in
right,
the
right,
in the preseason rankings. Um, so yeah. Anyway, I think Gunner can get it done. I think he can get it done because he has the makings of it, and I actually think that based on everything that I've seen from Puglisi, I think that he could probably also get it done. It's just a matter of who Kirby trots out there to to start. And if for some reason he believes that that guy is not going to be the best chance for them to win a game, then they'll trot someone else out there that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm of the opinion that Kirby Smart has paid millions and millions of dollars to figure that out. Sorry, Carter.
Sorry, Carl. Yeah. Agreed.
Um, I will say that alluding to, we're going to pivot to his next question.
Sure. Yeah. The assess the two newest dogs' future impact and how big it is to get both Curtis and Cantwell. Bobby added he could provide some insight here. Insider Bobby has entered the chat.
Insider Bobby. Yeah, I would say that Cantwell is probably going to be the most important component to that. I am of the opinion, increasingly so, that the more large human beings that we can get on our roster, on both the offense and defense, are going to be much bigger. They're going to be much bigger signals of how far we're able to take a team, regardless of who's at quarterback. Because let's not forget, we had Jake Fromm take us to a national championship. People didn't like him as a quarterback.
Yeah.
And we had Stetson Bennett take us to back-to-back national championships as a quarterback. And people weren't happy about him either.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't exactly neither one of them were the most heralded people and recruited quarterbacks in the world. Curtis, by and large, is coming to UGA as one of the, I think isn't he like one of the highest rated quarterbacks to come through here?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's like 5-star everything.
I mean, he's Mr. Five Star. I don't know. I'm like I said, I think that the offensive line is more important. I also think that the offensive line is more important because I I am not one to ignore the data, but in modern era of college football, we have not had any quarterbacks lead the University of Georgia to a national championship or SEC championship that are not from the state of Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you want that's a callback to the first part of his question. Why can Gunner get it done? He is from UG. He is from Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. And then Bobby rounded it out with how much better is the offensive line and will we run the ball like a normal UGA team again? I will say that was one of my things last year, like heading in, like people like, like just random people be like, hey, like what are you worried about? What do you think about Georgia? And I pointed to the running back room last year, like that was a big concern. And I think the reaction I got from most people was, like modern football, it doesn't matter anymore. Well, I don't know, man. Like I think it mattered. So I don't know. I don't know yet. I mean, I think, I would feel better about it if ETN had come back, which by the way, ETN, Carolina Panther, Lily was like so happy about that. Just like freaking out. So that was a fun time. And by the way, the Falcons actually drafted a Georgia player in the first round for the first
We
time
got
ever.
Jalen Walker,
So Jalen
yeah.
Walker, Atlanta Falcon. But I love Frazier. I think he's really good, but I think we generally tend to play a lot of backs. Are we going to can we have that, three-headed monster that we like to have under Kirby Smart? I think we need that just as much as the offensive line, to run the ball like we like to see Georgia run the ball. So we'll see.
Yeah, I would say that I don't know that the offensive line is better. We're losing a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
I have my I have my doubts, man. Stacy Searles is not the person that instills. He does not spark joy along the offensive line. And as far as running the ball, outside of what Jim just said about uh, we've got some guys back there, but I just don't think that they are going to be the guys that can take the ball, 30, 40 times, however many times you want to talk about it. Like
Right.
even if you go back to the Sonny Michel and Nick Chubb, I don't think that anybody on this roster is either one of those players.
Yeah. Although Bo Walker has a great name. Like you can't get much better name. Like you almost have to give that kid number 34. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and he's one of the ones that you hear about. Like he's one of the ones that Graham has written about. That
Yeah.
he's getting a lot of positive, positive feedback about. He's impossible to tackle, dude. I would love to see that. Like right now, I need someone to show me. we're in show me mode for both the offensive line and the running game.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. All right, let's kick it over to friend of the show, Tim Riley. He checks in immediate impact freshman and Athens restaurants to eat at during a hypothetical visit to see my freshman daughter. Go Dogs. Which congrats there. Yet another Bulldog
Yeah.
heading off to Athens in the fall.
Congrats to all of the UGA bound kids.
I also love that friend of the show, Tim Riley, threw in hypothetical visit because the tweet was worded hypothetically if we recorded an episode, what should we talk about? Hypothetically, of course. Something along those lines. I gotta go with my Milton guys for impact freshmen. So I don't know. Either like CJ Wiley or Ethan Barber, Barber, holy cow. Big dude.
He's a big boy. Yeah, I would say that as far as true freshman, I'm gonna go the other tight end, Ellis
Okay.
Williams. He is an even larger big boy. I'll be curious to see like what happens because one of the things that I'm gonna use him as a harken back to the national championship. One thing that I did notice in the national championship rewatch was that Darnell Washington was very much involved in that game, even though you didn't see him on the spreadsheet or whatever from a stats perspective, but dude was out there making impacts.
Yeah.
I think he actually had the one like a crucial first down catch that extended a drive where we absolutely needed something to get going, and he was the one that kicked that off. He has the frame of a Darnell Washington. Ellis is 6'6", 255, so he's basically going to be another offensive lineman out there at that size, right?
Yeah.
I would say that he kind of makes me interesting. Taylor, another 5-star recruit that's been kind of heralded. But you also mentioned CJ Wiley.
Mhm.
That is interesting to me because of where he hails from. Kids from Louisiana, and those Louisiana wide receivers tend to be really good. So
Yeah.
those would be guys that I'm going to be looking for from a breakout standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah. From Louisiana originally, but played at Milton High School, my alma mater.
I'm just talking about DNA, my friend.
All good. All good.
Those guys from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, historically, like I feel like I probably could run a search for it, but how many of those kids from Louisiana end up being like just all world wide receivers, right?
Right. Right. All right. Let's see here. Next up, we've got Trisha Ann. She had a few. I think some of them we've already talked about. I feel like the first one is easy. The likelihood of black jerseys this season.
I would say that it's better than 0%, but not much more.
I was actually looking at I was looking at the soundboard. Apparently, I don't have on there anymore, or maybe I never did. Somewhere there's like a Kirby just saying 0. I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. It last year we played Georgia Tech on Black Friday and we didn't wear black jerseys, so I just don't really think about it anymore. Then we talked about Gunner. She said stadium upgrades and the benefits, and now this is where I'm like in off season mode and wondering if I missed something. I don't know what else we changed this year from last year. Because I know there were a lot of changes last year, so I'm not sure. I may have to do some digging on that. Is there anything you can think of? Because I know they like redid the whole like press box and there was all that stuff, on the bridge side, but that stuff was there last year. So
I don't know what are they doing. I don't know what upgrades and benefits they've done. I don't know.
yeah, I'm not sure. I will say, G Day, everything was great. Concessions and everything were open and running. It was great. I had an easy time getting everything. So
hmm I would agree. I would agree with that. I would say that yeah, black jerseys, no upgrades. I'm not really sure about all of that.
the big one of her questions that I do want to know the answer to that I have not figured this out yet, but it'll come out eventually, and that's what is this season's catchphrase. I haven't caught wind of it yet, but I feel like we're at about the time of the year where that kind of stuff starts to trickle out. So Kirby
Yeah.
speaks at some event, and someone asks a question and his answer includes, like when Greg and I went and saw Kirby a few years back. Yeah, that was where we heard one of those come out. That was the Better Never Rest. Um, so yeah, I'm sure there's one of those we'll hear about soon. I think I would say the
Yeah,
latest you hear about that is probably SEC Media Days, but I feel like the last couple of years we've heard before.
I'm sure that the media team will drop another banger video for us,
Yeah, yeah,
and he'll like he'll slip it in on one of the on one of the non-mandatory workouts or whatever.
right, right, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. We can hit 51-7 GATA. He said with Texas versus Texas A&M being moved to Friday, November 28th at 7:30 p.m. this year, should clean old-fashioned hate move back to Saturday? An afternoon game on a Friday at Mercedes-Benz just doesn't seem right for this matchup. Either way, the hell with Tech and Texas. We were texting about this the other day because I think John had informed us in the text thread that this Texas versus A&M game had moved to Friday. And my initial reaction was like, ugh, like whatever. Like that was kind of our thing.
Copycats.
Yeah. I will say though, like, I guess maybe it depends on like what we don't know for sure when our game is going to be yet time. As far as I know, I would imagine it's going to be like 3:30, 4, something like that. So if the game is then, I'm okay with it. I always love a 3:30 game. So I can get on board with that. Also, just thinking back to last year with all the overtimes and how late that game ended, like it's kind of late. So it's cool. But I'm cool. I'm always cool. Like I don't want it to be like a nooner at Mercedes Benz against Tech on Black Friday. That would be lame. But if it's at
Like
3:30 or 4, I'm cool with that.
we had our kickoff last year was the night game, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that was pretty awesome.
I mean, it was. I mean, it ended, and the game ended on Saturday.
I think that yeah, I think that it being at 3:30 would not be the worst thing in the world. Again, I think that you and I are in agreement on this that what that 4:30 kickoff is like the peak eliteness.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Given that it's at NB Stadium, I would say that and the fact that they've got a 7:30 matchup between two teams that are in conference and are probably going to be vying for the, jockeying for position or whatever. I would say that that's probably a lock that we're going to be sitting at 3:30.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I was trying to find.
At this point, we're in college football 2025, and everything that we want matters not, dear fan.
Yeah,
And if playing in this game means that we're going to get more money to hand to some TikTok running quarterback, then fine, whatever.
you're all on the TikToks tonight.
I do not want the starting quarterback in the University of Georgia on TikTok ever again. Thank you very much, sir.
I will add the. I think that I've been scrolling through our text thread again. I keep everything with John and Hunter. So on Black Friday, you've got Texas versus A&M as the night game. You've also got the Egg Bowl. So Mississippi and Mississippi State is at noon on Black Friday, which is going to be 11 o'clock local for them, by the way. So that's on at noon. So I would assume we're going to be in that middle window. So like 3:34. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
Egg Bowl being at noon is disgust. Is
Yes,
just
that should be
absolutely filthy.
like that should be a night game. Like that's
That's
traditionally has been a night game, right?
That's what I thought. I was about to say. I was like, "What the heck's going on?" I thought the Egg Bowl is usually like a night game.
Well, I feel like they have been playing on Thanksgiving, like actually on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, on
at night.
Thanksgiving. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
They played
yeah.
Thanksgiving last
God,
year.
Get off my lawn. Go back to how it used to be. Come on, people.
Yeah, seriously. Can we please keep some semblance of tradition alive, please, for
Yeah.
the love of all things.
All right, let's see. Fresh IRC podcast asks, have the offensive line and drop issues been fixed? So I think we've talked about the offensive line, but I guess we haven't so much talked about the drops. Any thoughts on the drops? Actually, I feel like you have a commentary you've had about the drops and what was the potential culprit of said drops.
Carson Beck doesn't catch the ball.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe the drops have gone to Miami.
Time will tell.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I would say that's not something we can so much see from watching G Day. We're gonna have to see the young
We got to
men do
see it
it in
live
a
and in
game.
person.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
in the fall. So
I feel better about them. I am a little worried about getting the ball to them, so there's that. It
okay,
feels like a situation where if Gunner can get the ball to them in the right spots, then I think that they'll be able to take care of it based on what I've seen. The problem is that what I also have seen is, I don't know. We'll wait and see. We're in a wait and see mode on that one.
okay,
I don't want to get pessimistic about it.
okay. No Munsoning. It's May.
It is May and Munsoning is dead.
Agreed. All right, let's see. Blake Davis says, not long ago, it seemed UGA was way ahead of the curve of key rivals like Florida, Auburn, and Georgia Tech. Some have alluded to one or more passing the dogs with preseason fodder. Has the gap really closed that much, or is it just uncertainty? Obviously, portal is a big factor in gap closing. So I don't know. Is this Josh Pate reference again? Maybe with Florida being ahead of us or whatever.
I don't know. Who's closing the gap?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, like, and again, if you, I think by these are the three rivals that we have by the official My God a Podcast criteria of what makes a rivalry. Um, and I wouldn't say any of those three have passed us. So, or really close the gap again. I feel like you gotta have some semblance of like sustained success to see that there. I will say of those three, I mean, like Georgia Tech has come a long way from where they were um, under Geoff. Uh, I think Brent Key is the right guy for them. So I will say they have made some big strides from where they were, and we saw evidence of that on the field Black
Hmm.
Friday last year.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, that's still like I
I don't
still,
know.
I still don't see that so much. Like the gap is closed. I don't know.
I I'm just looking at a couple of things.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, how you calculate closing the gap hasn't really changed much. You could use the transfer portal, I guess, to a certain extent, but like UGA is never really going to be a huge player in the transfer portal, just based off of how Kirby Smart approaches things. So
Mm,
in the transfer portal, you are limited in who you can attract to the university. That person has to have raised their hand and said, I want to leave this school. And I would say that that is usually, for a team like Georgia, going to be a red flag in and of itself. So, you know, we may take some transfers, and we are definitely going to be open to the transfer portal. And most of the time, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, but most of the time when we have leveraged said transfer portal, it is because we have a need at the position that we are trying to fill.
yeah.
It is not out of desperation to try to amass stars and talent, a la the Colorados of the world or the South Carolinas of the world, or even, I mean, LSU's the number one team in the transfer portal this year, and they've got 12. Actually, no, I take that back. They have 17 players that have transferred into their squad from the portal. I mean, Florida State is another big one. Like
Yeah.
they have 23 people. Ole Miss 29. Like,
It's a lot of transferring.
I mean, Lane Kiffin has made his name lately on the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Like he made the cry to the boosters to try to go out and find talent that someone else has developed and just go and buy it.
Yeah.
And then do F all with it.
Mm,
Um, because they went and spent all this money and still didn't make the SEC championship, still didn't do anything with it. Like it's just I don't know, man. The transfer portal to me is almost irrelevant as far as like closing the gap. So how else do you measure that? Well, uh, the recruiting rankings are still very heavily going to be involved in that, and UGA has consistently been in the top three in all those, with Texas being number one, number two, however you look at it. Like, Texas is there. I'm until Steve Sarkisian is proves otherwise. I feel like we are the Alabama to their Georgia right now. Um, and outside of that, like, yeah, Alabama is there, but again, like, there's a lot of questions for me on the University of Alabama right now, but I'll reserve judgment for when they roll up to Athens and show us what they look like without Jalen Milroe and their mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
We'll see who they've got this year, but Florida, the team that's the team, Florida and LSU, like stick out like sore thumbs to me on this list. Like they haven't closed anything. Like there's no gap closing there. Tennessee hasn't closed any gaps. They're sitting at number 11 in the 24/7 recruiting rankings. A&M's number 10. Um, Missouri's 14, Ole Miss is 15, like at Auburn 6. I mean, you got Hugh Freeze out there doing Hugh Freeze things. Um,
Yeah, I say, I
I don't
mean,
know.
if you focus on the Florida, Auburn, and Tech, I don't I don't see it.
Yeah,
So,
I don't see any gaps closing. Matter of fact, if you looked at like the blue chip ratio, I think is what
mhm.
if you look at your blue chip ratios, that's where I would actually like look at when the season starts is what is your blue chip ratio? Because you look at the recruiting rankings and UGA's got five stars. The only other team that has anywhere close to that is Texas. Um, and then we've got 23 4 stars. We have more 4 stars than Texas does. So Texas sits as the number one ranked team, but UGA actually has, we actually have more.
Mm.
More quality, if you will.
Yeah, yeah,
So I don't know.
I'm
We'll
with
see
you.
how it all pans out.
I think it's talking season stuff with stuff like that right now. So we'll see.
Yeah, the good news is that Kirby Paul Smart is the head coach at the University of Georgia, and until that does not become a fact, I am not going to worry about the recruits and closing games.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We got John Michael D. It's only crazy if it doesn't work. Hashtag uniform Twitter and hashtag little stitious. Concerns continue. And he had quote tweeted something he sent us back in November. Now I will say I did actual research on this one.
Oh no!
This is how you get me to go do research. You ask stuff like
All
this.
right.
So he said, working on a combined little stitious and uniform Twitter crossover theory. From what I have researched, the only Georgia quarterbacks to wear a non-leather helmet and lead us to a natty played in a game with red pants. And he said Hargret Library may need to confirm my research. So I just actually, now that I'm reading this again, I would say I actually am leaning towards, I think he's onto something. But so let me
I
give
think
my,
he's correct because
well, so here's the so the caveat, I guess it would be,
Baloo, From, and Bennett.
yeah, but he said to not wear a leather helmet. So we're talking like Sinkwich. Now, this is where my analysis came in. It was like, what kind of helmets did they wear? So we're talking
Oh,
the 1942 Rose Bowl team, right? The Rose Bowl was January 1st, 1943, so 1942 season. So I was looking back to seeing, did they wear leather helmets, or was that like the year we went to plastic? And so what I found was that it was actually like during the 40s is when Georgia transitioned from leather helmets to plastic helmets. So I'm not 100% sure, but all the way he worded it, like he didn't say, well, yeah, where so like did Sinkwich wear a non-leather helmet in the 1942 season? That's the question I have to ask. I will tell you, I know that they wore silver helmets back then, and
I
I
was
was
just
looking
about to
at
say,
pictures.
I'm looking at the silver helmet, and I'm like,
I can't tell what it's made out of though. Like
is this leather? Like,
it
what
could
is
be a
this?
painted leather helmet. I'm not sure. I'll tell you what, they didn't have face masks on them. I will say that. So we could also pivot this to say the only players who played with a face mask on their helmet wore red pants. So
Agreed,
uh,
Jason. We need to. Can we get a ruling on this? I tagged them in it
yeah,
with a plea to Jason, who actually is going to be in Marietta in May. Actually, should probably plug.
the is it the traveling? Oh yeah, that's cool. His traveling exhibit that he does during the summer.
Uh-huh.
I will
Let's
say
see.
when we did our campus tour with Lily, while the Hargret Library was not on the official tour, I reached out to Jason and we stopped by and said hello. Um, there's cool stuff there, by the way. Like even outside of the sports, like because that library itself has other stuff in there than the sports stuff. There is some really cool really cool like fashion industry exhibit actually, and like talking about all the stuff that was made in Georgia. And then there was a Civil War exhibit. It's pretty cool. It was actually like Lily's favorite thing of the campus tour was the post tour visit to the Hargrett Library. Go check it out for sure. Yeah, so definitely be sure to check out follow Hargrett Library on Twitter. Um, Jason always does a like Georgia athletics in your town traveling exhibit, and is doing one this summer as well. So he's going to be all around Georgia. So check that out to see when he's going to be coming to your city if he comes through. Looks like he'll be in Marietta in July. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's gonna be all over. He's gonna be at Hartwell, Alpharetta, Noonan, Columbus, Marietta, Tifton, Dublin, and Toccoa. So he's gonna be hitting all over some of the further reaches of the state, but also he'll be around South Side, North Side, Northeast Side, Northwest Side. So definitely come and check out his library tour, his public library tour.
Yeah. I would say, like, John, if you're able to go, you'll have to ask him this question in person.
Yes, I'll get him. I'll get him on record for at the Switzer Library from 11 to 4 a.m. 4 p.m. On July 16th. July 16th.
Yeah.
They'll be in Marietta.
So I'll say, John Michael D. I think you're onto something. I think we might have to tweak the language a little bit pending our research on were those silver helmets leather or not. And I will say what I went to, I was like, oh, I know where to find this, and it still wasn't perfectly spelled out. That Hooked on Helmets guy, I remember he had done a video about the Georgia evolution of the Georgia football helmet, and the way he worded it was that in the 40s Georgia transitioned from leather to plastic helmets. So, but he said 1941 was the year that they went to the silver helmet. So, not 100% sure. But if we can be safe by saying wore a face mask. Because
I was gonna say if you pivot it to that face mask, that's definitely going to be really easy. If I had to guess, the fact that these helmets are silver probably means that they're not made out of lead, my guess.
That's my guess too, but we'll have to figure it out.
I sent you a link if you want to pull it up to show the people on the YouTubes.
Oh man, see now I have to look at like all my settings.
That's fine. I don't
know. We'll pump that some more.
All right.
Trying to put glasses on it.
Sorry. All right.
Dude, we need to get someone in the ear of Kirby Smart. I mean, there was an earthquake in Tennessee, even though Kirby is not supposed to be in Tennessee until later this year. Someone needs to get in his ear, and that's one of those uniform traditions that you and I have talked about. Like, just set it up before the season. We're going to be on the road in Tennessee. We're going to be wearing red pants.
That's right.
We're going to be on the road at Auburn, and we're going to be wearing black jerseys or whatever.
Yeah, home. Yeah, you got it. Yeah,
home. Yeah.
Again, the red pants, they were good enough for Herschel. Good enough for me.
And Stetson and Fromm. Oh, man. And Baloo.
Amazing. Although no Fromm. Fromm didn't ever wear the red pants.
He didn't wear the red pants? Okay.
No, but he didn't win a national championship. He played in one.
Oh, is that the I thought led us to a natty is
I think like led us to win a natty.
Win a natty. Got it. Okay.
All right, let's see. Fletcher Proctor came in with, if you were a hot dog and you were starving, would you eat yourself?
Yes.
Like, that was an all-time Saturday Night Live moment. You got back when Colin Quinn was doing Weekend Update, and a young Will Ferrell as Harry Carey. Fantastic.
Hey, Norm.
It's so good.
That used to be in the dorm room. Like we'd be in the dorms, like doing the best Harry Carey impersonations. Dude, it's so amazing. So amazing.
That was good. All right. We do have one more question.
Oh my God!
My God, a freshman.
Trying to put glasses on it. 1980 rule, brother.
Shout out to Coach Trillbill, who also worked in the hypothetical into his question. with if you hypothetically had an over under segment, here's something to consider. Also, shout out to Coach Drill for making the dinner recommendations for me when we were in Alpharetta this past weekend. We didn't eat where he recommended, but we did stop by for a drink after. Shout out to Hobnob at, how do I say it? Halcyon? Do you say the Halcyon or do you just say Halcyon? Do you know that place
I
up in
not
Alpharetta?
this basically being like a foreign country to me.
You don't venture over there.
I don't usually. So the only reason we ever go over there is because of sports. So like,
Okay.
it's kind of like going to Canada. Like, you got to go visit the Niagara Falls or whatever. Like,
Ah,
and when you go over there, you get something to eat over there. So, yeah, I call it Halcyon, right?
yeah, that's my understanding. But yeah, I've only been there twice,
This
both
is like
within the
when
past year.
you can tell someone's not from there when not from Atlanta when they say the MARTA.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to say like the Halcyon when it's just Halcyon. I wasn't totally sure. But yeah, man, I will say Hobnob, our bartender saw me like staring at like the shelf, at the bourbon shelves, and came over and asked me, like, she was like, I see you looking at all the bourbon. Would you like me to bring you our bourbon book? And I was like, sure. So it was good. Had a couple of good bourbons on Saturday. I had E.H. Taylor Small Batch out there, and my dad brought over a bottle of Pappy for us to enjoy uh, at my niece's graduation party. So
Mm,
had some fantastic bourbon on Saturday.
that one is pretty awesome.
I'd
Not gonna
never had
lie.
it, and it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. How would you? So you've had the Weller 12 and you've had that one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which one do you rate higher?
Um, the Pappy. It was
The Pappy.
it was really good, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, the Pappy situation is the 10 year. I've had most of them. The only one that I haven't had the rye. What's the Family Reserve? I think is what it's called.
Which one?
And I
What
haven't
what did Stetson have after the Natty?
the one that you had the 10 year.
Guys, I
For
knew it.
sure.
I knew it just tasted elite.
Pretty. Did you pull it from the bottle and take a picture of it? Because that would have been
Uh,
content that would have been amazing.
did not
Who wore it better?
poured it in a glass. Did drink it neat though. No ice. Had it neat. It was good.
I'm just verifying my memory because I'm pretty sure that it was the 10 year.
I'm not
Oh
you.
no,
No.
I don't think so.
Okay,
I
that's
think
okay.
I think I think upon further review,
Label looks
it
different.
might it might be a little different.
That's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine. Still elite.
Yeah. Still elite.
Okay.
Speaking of restaurants, did we ever give Tim restaurant recommendations?
Oh, we didn't give the restaurant. We just talked about going to Georgia. Hold on.
Okay.
Pause the over unders. Tim, we didn't answer your question. Um, yeah, we just talked about the immediate impact freshman. Okay, I'm going to recommend just because it's somewhere new to me. Wherever it's like right behind Creature Comforts. And it was like but it was like order at the counter. And I really enjoyed it. Ted's Most Best. It's like a pizza place. So we've got like pizza and then just like Italian stuff. Like I said, you order at the counter and then they bring it to your table. So if you're there hypothetically visiting your freshman daughter, I feel like that would be a good place.
I'm gonna always go with a not a sponsor yet, South Kitchen and Bar.
Mm, mm, yes. Which, by the way, that's where we had brunch with my parents when we stayed with them for spring break, and I think that was the first time I'd eaten there. It was so good. It was really good.
Listen, I've never had a bad meal there. It's fantastic. Last Resort also can't beat it. However, Tim, you're gonna have to get reservations at Last Resort. Maybe hit a Hug Dog for that. I would say that. Speaking of Hug Dog, probably brunch on the Hilltop Grill,
Oh, you
right?
gotta go.
Get the bacon ranch shrimp.
Look! It opened the night that David Green threw in past Michael Johnson. Amazing. Yeah. Then obviously Little Italy, if you want a sub sandwich. While we're just naming restaurants, Trapeze. Oh, that's another one I enjoy. Okay.
I I will say that every time I go into Athens, I almost always try to find an excuse to eat at South Kitchen and Bar. That's all
Yeah.
I gotta say about
It's
that.
it's really good. It's really good. That's a good one.
And you can go in there and eat at the bar, no reservation. And if you get there early enough, there's usually no lines or waits, and you can just walk right in. But also recommend reservations on game day.
Yeah, we had a reservation for like a Sunday brunch when we went with my parents.
Right.
It was great. All right, back to the over unders. Uh, okay, over unders. Preseason polls with Georgia ranked 10 or lower. Over under 2.5. I'm gonna go under. There's no way that actual preseason polls can do this.
10 or lower, meaning like we're ranked below 10
Let's say
or
10
like
or let,
better.
I'm assuming
10 or
lower,
worse?
10 or worse. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
that's how I read it.
Clarification.
Yeah, clarifying question. I'm gonna go under 2.5.
Also point of clarification. These are not official over-unders
No,
for the
these don't.
calculations.
Correct, correct. This is off-season fun time. These don't go into the calculation. I mean, unless I don't know, it's coaches over under, so
It is
he can
coaches
do
over
what he wants to
over-unders.
do.
The rules should have been outlined before we started.
Oh, so good, so good. Let's text him. That's good.
Yeah, I'll go under.
Okay, okay. Over under Georgia baseball seating 8.5. I'm assuming he's meaning seating in the College World Series.
Hmm.
I don't. I don't know. I'm gonna say, let's just say better or worse. I'll say better than 8.5.
I'll say better as well.
Yeah. Diamond Dogs are they're fun to watch. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
SEC teams in Omaha over under 2.5. So that's not College World Series. That's make it to Omaha.
All right. So for those of us that may not have followed baseball as closely, is this like making the tournament kind of thing?
So it's not the tournament. So the tournament you've got, and I don't even know the full like numbers everywhere, but I'll give some generals. So there's regionals and then there's super regionals.
Super regional, yeah,
And
yeah.
so like the teams so for the regionals and the super regionals you host. And then if you win the super regionals, like if you win that round, then you go to Omaha.
And
And then
how many teams go to Omaha is what I'm trying to figure out.
eight teams advance to Omaha. So that's
So
the College World Series.
that's the College World Series. Okay.
Yeah.
Push.
Gosh. Yeah, I mean 2.5.
2.5. It's a good line, I
That
feel
it
like.
is a good line. That's a good line.
I'm gonna
Uh,
go over.
over. Okay. Okay. I'll go under just to be different.
Now we're gonna have shenanigans at the end on whether or not we count this or not.
Coach is like stroking his chin right now, like yes, yes, I've been thinking about this. Uh,
Chaos.
Miscellaneous question: do you have advice for any incoming Georgia freshman?
Go to class.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Don't get it. Don't schedule anything before you realistically feel like you can consistently wake up at.
That's a good one. Okay.
Just because you think that you can get up at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. or whatever, doesn't mean that you are going to be able to.
Remember,
I don't I don't know that from personal experience or anything at all whatsoever.
I don't remember how much you would remember if you ever remembered my speeches at chapter about time management and being able to manage your time. It was I used to get made fun of all the time. But yeah, I would say too, even just like thinking back, like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if you ever think about this, like how much better I feel like I would be at college now, just like knowing how the world works and everything. And like, I don't know, like I feel like I could have paced myself much better on like doing things instead of cramming everything like a dumb teenager, waiting till the last minute. So I don't know. Don't wait till the last
Yeah.
minute. Do your homework, read your books and assignments and such. These are simple things that go a long way.
Yeah. I'm trying to
Um,
think what else. Don't be, I would say that don't be too eager to live off campus.
okay.
I feel like that it leads itself to a different experience because what I'll say, even though I lived 2 years in the fraternity house, I don't necessarily count that as off campus, um, because it was still, pretty close by. I mean, we could walk back from, it was a long hike, but we could walk back from downtown.
I mean, you could walk from downtown to Waterford.
Well, I don't think that I don't consider Waterford necessarily off campus, but I don't know. I feel like that the Waterford these days is very different.
Probably.
Um, I don't know. I just say that stay in the dorms. Stay in the dorms as long as you can. I spent 2 years in the dorms, and that was awesome.
I only spent one. Then I went over to River Mill. They had a great place. Great place. Uh,
Don't go to Mandyville.
oh man. All right. Gotta close it out with saying congrats to Coach Trilbill. Recently engaged. Uh so congrats, buddy.
Yes. Big congrats. Looking forward to that wedding. And it probably will not be in the fall, I'm assuming. Or hey, we can have our first Morris Hall wedding
There we go. On the lawn, on the front steps.
on the front steps. Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. All right. Well, Coach Trill, thanks for sending those in. Always appreciate you, buddy.
Absolutely.
All right. You got anything else
I
to wrap it
don't.
up?
I
Yeah.
don't. I think that I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic about this next season. Just I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, we're Georgia, we're under Kirby Smart. We got all these amazing recruits. I have been frustrated with the state of college football and the recruiting and all that stuff. And I remember, I guess to a certain extent, being one of those people that was like, oh my gosh, like we're getting outbid by all these people, and then all of a sudden, like you get calmed down by someone that knows what's going on, and like, don't worry,
Mhm.
like like we're willing to spend for certain players and certain like we're just not going willy-nilly with everyone kind of thing,
Right. Right.
making these huge splashes. So I don't know. I would say that, if you're, again, we've talked about this in the past. Like, if you're these boosters that are dropping all of this NIL money into these universities, at some point, it's going to have to pay off. And I guess that you've got Ohio State that was able to do that last year, and this year, by and large, looks like it's Texas.
Mhm.
Color me skeptical on whether or not they're going to actually be able to accomplish that with Steve Sarkisian. Um, but I would say that never forget when someone's talking to you about XYZ recruits or, oh yeah, UGA is not going to be the guys this year or whatever. Like, just remember that we've got Kirby Smart at the helm, and he is paid a king's ransom for figuring all of this out, and he hasn't really let us down
Yeah.
thus far. So
In Kirby, we trust.
in Kirby, we trust. And on that, Jim, I'll give you a go dogs.
Go dogs.